Everyone, James Kratch here with Keith Sargeant in Chicago. Big Ten Media Day is pretty much over. There's some podium stuff later on today, but obviously Rutgers spoke Monday. And I guess the big thing we learned, Keith, obviously, just to get right off the bat, the credit card situation. Yeah. It seems like Rutgers, that they comment Pat Hobbs and Chris Ash for the first time since this all started, since you reported it. Didn't really say much, but it does seem like they feel this is coming to a close at some point.
Yeah, I mean, the expectation is, and they didn't say, but the expectation should be, before training camp, and I guess we're, almost a week away, from training camp. So I would expect something maybe even before the end of the week. And I think, the obvious expectation is more players will be, players will be charged. That no one's been charged at this point, but players will be charged, and there's going to be more dismissals and suspensions, which is going to obviously take its toll on depth. And it's not fair to speculate on any names at this point. But it's going to have an effect on training camp, and even Coach Ash conceded depth is going to be a factor.
And that was what he said. One of maybe his number one concern about the team is the depth. He said he feels good about the starting 22, who's the guys who are returning, the potential starters. But he said the guys behind that, it's a big concern. You can have a major drop-off at some point if there's injuries. And obviously that's probably going to play into it if we've got several players in this mix. Yeah,
without question. And, you look at the experience too. Defense, secondary, linebacker to back seven, front seven. There's not a whole lot of experience.
No.
So, whoever is impacted by this, whatever position groups are impacted by it, you're probably looking at a situation where Rutgers, kind of like last year, kind of like the first 2 years. Maybe they have they have legitimate Big Ten starters, but not a whole lot of depth behind them.
I think one good thing Rutgers got out of this, Les Austin, 100%. It doesn't seem like there's going to be any limitations then when camp starts, and easing in. So he's the best defensive player.
Without question. And you said all the right things about wanting to play, and I think when you have him and Isaiah Wharton as your two cornerbacks, those are could be one of the better cornerback duos in the Big Ten.
Quarterback.
This is the first time, by the way, in 3 years where just a little inside info here. So we get Chris Ash before he does his podium on Monday, and of course we asked like all the appropriate questions regarding the credit card investigation, and it was like 3 or 4 questions. I'm peppering him, and then finally I asked him the question that is normally a dreaded question, like he hates answering a quarterback question, like a lot of coaches do. And I think he was almost relieved to actually talk
That's the simple part.
To him, look, I mean, it's third year in a row that they've had a quarterback not controversy, a quarterback battle, and really for Rutgers, it seems like it's like the upteenth year in a row that they've actually had some uncertainty going into training camp as to who's going to be the starter. Chris Ash, I mean, you want to just talk about like what he said?
Yes, I mean, look, we've written it, we've said it. Art Sikowski is still the overwhelming favorite to win the job.
Correct.
But Chris Ash is not moving away from the idea that there's a 3-man quarterback battle. Gio Racino is going to take the first snap, he said, the first practice, August 3rd. Now, that might mean he takes one snap and an Art goes in. We'll have to see. Jonathan Lewis also in the mix. Again, it seems very unlikely that it's not going to be Art, but he's not giving it to Art yet, and he said there is going to be a battle. And look, Gio's been counted out plenty of times before and found his way to the top.
Well, that's the thing that people don't understand. It's a long football season, and last 2 years, Gio was not named the starter, from week 1, but ended up being the starter by season's end. The date, and again, Chris Ash didn't talk about timeline and give us. He has previously said 2 weeks before the start of the season. I went back and looked. It was the last 2 years. It was exactly 11 days before the season opener. That would put us at August 21st. So I would think that he's going to try to get that announcement sooner rather than later.
No, so obviously Texas State's the opener, kind of a chance to ease in, but then you're at Ohio State in week 2.
Yep.
So whoever the quarterback is going to be thrown right into the fire. I think that's pretty much all the big points from here in Chicago. Obviously, a couple of days to go. I think 10 days now before the start of training camp. So it's here.
Yeah.
It's football season.
Yeah, I mean, as you pointed out, that the talking point, from what from December to now, all we do is talk about the season. Now we're finally here.
We're here.
Finally.
So that's it for us here in Chicago. Keep it here at NJ.com. We have hours of audio to go through, lots of stuff to happen. You'll see a ton of it.
You're not going to find it anywhere else on the web either.
No. 2 people in Chicago for NJ.com covering Rutgers. So that's it for us, and we'll see you next time.